to the Sports Showcase event on Hartford TV. I am Ray Hughes, and I am here with my broadcast partner, Janice Rhodes, and we are at Bel Air Stadium for a field hockey matchup between the host Bel Air Bobcats and the visiting C. Milton Wright Mustangs. Bel Air comes in at 2-2, coached by Megan Lucas Savage, assistant coach Karen Fike, and the AD is Craig Reddish, and the principal is Rob DeLeva. And C. Milton Wright is coached by Kelsey Lovelace, and I know this is her 5th year, and she is assisted by Mike Tagliaferri and Jasmine Petratoni. I'm proud of myself, Janice. So again, Janice, welcome to the match.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. You know, almost 10 years ago, I coached at C. Milton Wright, and I remember every time we played Bel Air, the butterflies in my stomach came, and I cannot believe here we are 10 years later, and I have butterflies in my stomach.
And the good news is you haven't aged at all, Janice.
Right, thank you.
So per that thought, is this normally a good matchup?
It is always a good matchup. I mean, years and years and years later, here we are, and it is bound to be a very, very competitive, strong competition here. I'm very excited about this game.
So I have our officials as Sydney James and Taylor Dietrich. And Janice, if you're ready to, if you want to, you can try to give us our starting lineups, and we'll pause if they start doing the anthem. But what do you have down here for the starting lineups?
Okay, let me go ahead and start with C. Milton Wright, our visiting team here. So on the starting front line, on the starting front line, we have sophomore Peyton Gossman, senior Winslow DePeso, and senior Shelby Sullivan. In the middle of the field, we've got Claire Burrows as the attacking mid. We've got sophomore Morgan Thomas at the left mid, senior Abby Blair at the right mid, and then freshman Reese Rizzi as the defensive mid. On the defensive line, we've got KK Mann getting the start today. And then we've got Sarah Durborough in the center of the field, and then finally Mackenzie Morse on the right back. And then, of course, in the cage, we've got junior Phoebe Hennessy. Now, on the home team front, Bel Air, we've got on the starting lineup, we've got, Bella Leone starting on the right forward line, Avery Frank in the center forward, and Sam Sellers on the left. In the middle of the field, we've got Paige Fike. She's going to be the attacking mid. Sophia Harrison will be the defensive mid. And then on the right, Amelia Mason. And on the left, Maggie Ermintrout. And then, of course, on the defensive line, you've got Morgan Hennigan on the left. On the left. Faith Kreigel on the center. And then Carrie Ermintrout on the right.
So we got some siblings out there.
Yes, we do.
That's
and
awesome.
then in the cage, Sydney Kennedy's getting the start for this game.
So Janice has 2 daughters that are outstanding players, so I will just ask you, they say twins are often closer than other siblings. Did they get along on the field most of the time, or were they like me and my brother where we were our biggest defenders, but sometimes we had our little spats?
I think for the most part they were friendly on the field. They really depended on one another. It did not. It helped that one of them was in the cage while the other one was in the field. So I think that made a big difference.
Yes, I always thought it was interesting coaching siblings. Sometimes they got along on the field, and sometimes they were at it with each other. So nothing like the Super Bowl last year when the Mrs. Kelsey had to wear a jersey with both sides because she had a son on the Eagles and a son on the Kansas City Chiefs. She said, I can't root for anybody. You had that a couple times in college possibly, but I'm not sure.
We absolutely did, and we did the same exact thing. Delaware hat, Maryland shirt, or vice versa.
Yeah, I was lucky. I had a boy and a girl. We didn't have to deal with that as much, but they did go with each other to all their events. So I see Faith Kriegel in the goal here.
No.
Oh, that's the back
Center
person,
back, yep.
Center back. So I'm just going to talk about goalies for a second, Janice. Your daughter is a goalie. Just walking behind the goal during the warm-ups, and they're cracking these shots at them, and it hit right off the goalies shin pad, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was a loud noise. I could see them getting hurt once in a while.
Yeah, I was watching some of the warm-up in both of the cages. The goalies are solid. It's going to be a very interesting game, both on the defensive penalty corners when you've got numbers down and you're really relying on your goalie to do her job. But again, both goalies looked really good in the cage during warm-ups.
Well, and we did talk to the coaches, and they said, help me make sure I get this right, Janice. Last year, I think it was the the Bel Air coaches said that last year they won in OT on a corner. In 2021, they lost on OT in a corner. And the year before that in the regular season was a close game, but in the playoffs it was 4-1. But she said that was the most lopsided game in her memory.
Right.
Was a 3-goal game.
Right.
So that bodes to your point of good close games. So do you expect when you see a close game with two evenly matched teams, are you thinking low scoring?
I'm thinking low scoring, absolutely. I think it's going to be a very physical game, but I think it's going to be a very good and strong game. I think it's going to be played smart. I'm hoping I see a lot of 1 or 2 touch hockey where the ball is being passed quickly.
Yes, and let's stay tuned for our anthem here, folks. They jumped in here on us real quick.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get the starters for your
My fault. They're going to do more starters here. Okay, I thought they were doing the anthem at that point. My fault. I heard them play music, and I didn't want to be disrespectful, folks, because sometimes they sneak the anthem in for us. So these two schools have good rivals in a lot of sports, boys and girls. It is you know how they say everybody has their crosstown rivals. Like when I grew up in Joppatown, our rivals were Edgewood. Some people say Aberdeen and Havre de Grace have a good rivalry. You know, a lot of these northern Bel Air, Harford County schools have multiple rivals, but I know from my own kids going to C. Milton Wright and having friends and people I coached at Bel Air that Bel Air and C. Milton Wright have a huge rivalry in everything.
They do. They sure do. But it's always a really nice competitive game. Both of these teams actually have yet another nice rival, and that's over at North Harford. And very recently, I believe it was last Thursday, Bel Air suffered one of their losses to a North Harford team in, I believe it was double overtime. Actually, they went into shootouts.
Okay.
So a very, very good, exciting game. So in both cases, both Bel Air and C. Milton Wright lost to North Harford by 1 goal.
Wow.
So
Now this year, if I'm getting this correctly, Bel Air is still 3A, and I think it's North Harford and C. Milton Wright are in 2A
I think so.
with Falston. So that's going to be interesting. No, Falston moved up to 2A.
No kidding.
Yes, so
Wow.
Patterson Mill breathed a sigh of relief for that because
Yeah,
now
for sure.
they're in 1A and they have a more clear path. And but no, to think about North Hartford, C. Milton Wright, and Falston, among others, fighting it out for this regional championship to get out to the state semifinals, that's going to be good.
Yeah, this is going to be a great game to watch. For me, players to watch are really out of Bel Air. You saw Faith Craigle being introduced, and then Paige Fike. Both very, very talented and very strong players. In fact, the cornerstone, in my opinion, of the Bel Air team. And on the C. Milton Wright team, that spine, you've got Winslow DePeso, Claire Burrows, Reese Rizzi, the freshman, and then Sarah Durborough.
Yeah, and we'll talk about more accolades after the anthem, folks. A lot of all-county players on these two teams.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, may we please have your attention for a special announcement. October 2nd through 7th has been designated as Officials Appreciation Week by the Maryland Public Secondary Schools Athletic Association. Before we begin today's athletic contest, Bel Air High School and C. Milton Wright High School in Harford County would like to recognize and thank the dedicated officials working today's athletic contest. During the last 2 years, we've been reminded just how important
Again, I say this
interscholastic
every game I
athletics
do.
are to our
Officiating is so unheralded, so tough. Janice will enlighten us later, but she does a lot of officiating in Delaware now. So I think they're also doing a commercial here because we can use more officials, Janice.
We can always use more officials.
Yes. hopefully some of these young ladies will serve back in the future and coach and officiate. I've already seen some of them want to coach and teach, and that's wonderful.
I advocate a lot within my club. We got a lot of U16s, U19s that are starting to enter the official umpiring business, which is great.
Love how the girls stand and put their left hand on the girl's shoulder in front of them to show unity. We've talked about this before, Janice. You have like friends here that play different sports outside of school with each other. Some of these girls play lacrosse with each other. Some of them play AAU basketball. Some of them play, some of them are swimmers. I just talked to a few girls that are swimmers from each school. And I just think that's wonderful. And we have a kind of a new, a similar thing to our last game. Last game, we talked about somebody that I know and am close to, and Ava Lapano, and she is a lacrosse player who picked up the stick last year and started immediately on field hockey. And they said the same thing Wright coach said about Shelby Sullivan. She's a really good lacrosse player, and she's just melded to field hockey as well.
Absolutely. What I had heard was she hasn't touched her stick since 7th grade. She's an awesome, not just a good lacrosse player, but she's got a scholarship to the University of Maryland. So to me, that makes her a great lacrosse player. But it's exciting to see that she decided to play in her senior year on the field hockey team, and that's always exciting to watch. Not only is she playing, but she's one of the leading scorers along with freshman Reese Rizzi.
So I know Shelby introduced her through some other family friends, and she worked for me part-time recently in the last couple years. And she going to Maryland. I'm a Maryland Terp fan, so I didn't go there. I used to go down and watch all the games and so forth, and I've gone for years. So that's good to know. I'll try to go see her play when she's in college.
Yeah, they have a wonderful program.
Yeah, they used to be the perennial number 1, 2 every year. Now they have some competition, but they're still up there, and their field hockey's still ranked pretty well, right?
Oh yes,
they're usually top 10 also.
Yep.
So obviously that ball was lifted pretty high. So in learning some of the rules from Janice, and I'll be picking her brain again right on the start there, they lifted it pretty high, but it isn't a violation there, I'm assuming.
Well, in this case, the umpire decided that it wasn't as dangerous as, maybe another. It's a judgment call in a lot of cases, so she held the whistle.
So I'm going to let Janice do more of the calls there. So what was the violation there, Janice?
I'm sorry, I believe it was a foot.
Okay.
Inside the circle, so that's an automatic corner.
So the girls on defense are going behind the goal right now, and they're putting face masks on, and we saw that last week.
Right.
And it's for the safety of this play here, because this is probably one of your best chances for a hard strike after a trap, and they don't want anybody getting teeth hurt, noses, or anything else.
That's right.
So often you see one pass, and then she got in there pretty good. Oh, she's right in there.
There it is.
Wow. I think
What a
that was
great
number
goal.
33 on Bel Air, and that would be
Paige Fike.
Yeah.
As expected, she is definitely a player to watch. She is Bel Air's top scorer, one of the most talented field hockey players I have had the privilege of coaching.
So she gets a pass off here. She just takes it in on her own and opens up her hips so she can put a shot. It looked like it hit the goalie's thigh before it went in, but she went in pretty undeterred there, Janice. I was a little surprised by that.
Yeah, there, you know, Bel Air was definitely numbers up
Right.
on an attacking penalty corner,
Mhm.
and she took a lot of advantage of that.
Yeah, she took the space she was given. Would you advise the girl in the right post to come out and attack her at some point there?
Yeah, somebody probably could have had the opportunity to step up on her.
Okay. I know that's not what the C. Milton Wright coach was looking for, a goal a minute and a half into the game, giving up, but let's see if they can respond. That was a good steal there. Looks like that was number 18 on this steal, Alyssa Delcher.
Avery Frank, it looks like.
Oh, I
Yep.
thought it was 18, my bad. So I have a lot of, 16, okay. Sometimes, folks, I get the 6s and the 8s mixed up on the 0s and the stuff on the back. I have multiple people out here that we know. Janice knows a lot more than me because she coaches and runs the H2O club field hockey program. And I think you would say, Janice, you even know a handful of the coaches out here from that, right?
Yes, definitely. It's a small community here, the field hockey world, so it's always fun.
So one of the assistant coaches is one of your H2O coaches, right?
Yes, one of the C. Milton Wright head varsity coach is one of our coaches, as is her assistant coach, Jasmine. Jasmine played at Shippensburg and actually is a Honda Award winner.
So that was a little bit dangerous there, trying
That
to switch
was.
that, and a little confusion between between the goalie and the central defender. What's the Hana Award for?
So it's a premier award given to NCAA athletes,
Wow.
and basically she's the top Division II female athlete in, I believe it was 2021 when she got that award, or 2022
That's
rather.
awesome.
106 goals in her
Wow.
career. Crazy, right?
Yes.
So it looks to me here that C. Milton Wright is playing a little nervous,
Mm-hmm.
right? They are making passes not to their teammates.
Mm-hmm.
They need to get the jitters out now and start playing their game.
So you can still see with enough daylight, it's a really beautiful field here and campus and facilities, the bleachers, the press box we're in, the area across the field is really nice, the tennis courts, the baseball fields around us, the school to our left, just a great view. So Janice, you are probably not quite as old as I am, might be around the same age, but Janice is still in the coaching game. So with the sports I'm involved with, I'm still involved enough, but it's getting to the point now for me, it's people that I coached, kids that are playing. So
That's happening to me too.
okay. We saw about a dozen people in the stands that said hi to each of us, and a couple came up here and waved to me, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I coached you 25 years ago, and now your kids are out here playing. So they're trying to swing this around the horn. Let's see if it gets all the way out here to the left wing. Janice explained to me last field hockey match how it's right side dominated with the players you want, and that's what teams prefer to go down. And it'll be interesting here to see if there's any changes of positions based on matchups. But explain the rules on being able to hit the different side of the stick and when and so forth.
So you can only use the right side of the stick, the flat side of the
Right.
stick, rather. You can use the edge of the stick, so you'll see some of these players hitting a reverse
Mm-hmm.
shot, but again, using the edge of the stick.
And you also just saw 3 or 4 of them already where it's accidentally hit, or on purpose, but mostly accidentally hits the foot of the player, and that's not allowed.
Correct.
And it could be in a really dangerous time when it's inside the circle. I mean, that's,
Which will force that corner.
yeah.
So what we're seeing here, so C. Milton Wright is really struggling on their outletting. When they
Mhm.
get that free 16-yard hit to come out of the defensive end, they're really being challenged here. They've got Bel Air has a really nice press going on, but see, Milton Wright is really being challenged here, getting that ball out of the defensive area. You need to move that to the middle third of the field.
In a lot of sports, we call that transitioning the ball field, and it's vital to every sport. I mean, basketball, field hockey, soccer, lacrosse. If you can't, I call them turnovers even in these sports. If you can't clear properly, a lot of times the other team can get instant offense by you just not clearing properly. Is that common in field hockey as well? Errors leading to goals like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I did 3 girls and boys soccer games the last week and a half, and if there was 9 goals total scored, probably 6 of them were on non-clears, and then the mistake and the other team capitalizing. So there's a little bit of a chance here, but good job by
Grace Rizzi, our freshman.
She might have that one accidentally hit her foot. So I see the right midi out here trying to. It's hard to make that really wide pass, Janice, because the defense is just pushing out and covering people, and they don't have to be right on the player. They have to be on the passing angle.
There's a big ball.
Now if I can get through to this girl on the left side here, she got through. She did that backhand thing. Oh, it almost got to the forward, having a chance to strike that. So they're going to get a corner now.
There you go. Okay, so Milton Wright has an opportunity here.
What percentage, I mean, you can't break it down specifically, but is a large percentage of the goals scored on the corners?
Well, I would, it's funny, I was talking about this to my daughter who coaches at Penn. And, in truth, if you look at the statistics, I think a coach would be happy with about 30%.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
30% goals scored on corners.
So the large majority are like that rush they just had downfield.
They would be in field goals, yeah.
Yep.
So here's a missed opportunity for the reception was just off.
Yeah. Shows you how important the passing is. Now she has a lot of space on this side, Janice, and she can get going.
Yep.
Just lost a little control of it.
Good recovery by, I believe that's Mackenzie Morse.
Mm-hmm. 14. C. Milton. Yes, Mackenzie Morse.
Here it goes. Another corner for Bel Air.
So let's see if they come out a little bit with a little bit better pressure. So if you remember last week, our first or second goal to Patterson Mill, it was our first goal. Patterson Mill gave up. They did not come out aggressively on their defense of the corner as well, and it led to the 1-0 lead. So that's something the coach has to tell the players, obviously, a little more pressure.
Right. Falston's corners were mostly an insertion to the striker at top and then a big hit into the cage. Here, with Paige Feek receiving the ball, passing it.
Ooh,
she sort of walked it in last time. This time, a pass to the right with a shot just wide.
I was going to say, that one was sneaky close. I mean, when she struck that from there, but I don't know if it happens as much in field hockey as other sports, but sometimes all those legs in there in front of the goalie, let's get a deflection, it goes right in. That's why I used to tell my players, don't try to tee it up.
That's another big hit. Good.
Yeah, let's see. She trapped it to the middle. Now, if she could break out with this, nice pass. Unfortunately, it hit her
take
foot.
It quick here.
So you don't even have to stop the ball in those free possessions?
Actually, you do.
She got away with it.
Looks like she got away with it, yep. That's one of the things that Coach Kelsey Lovelace talked about, taking those quick hits.
So what's the call there, Janice? I don't mean to interrupt you, but
sure.
What happened there?
What happened there is you have to, when you're inside the 25-yard line, you have to travel with the ball at least 5 yards before you can enter the circle.
Okay.
She went about 3 yards.
Okay. So she made too quick of a pass there to her player. She had to hold it another push, folks. I mean, I learn something every game with Janice. I'm learning the rules.
So here, see, someone needs to take that ball quick.
Mm-hmm. And there is no offsides in field hockey, folks, like there is soccer. So you see people right in there behind the goalie. Not that the ball is going to come in there. Now they're spreading it out with a drop there, trying to put it wide. If she can get this down the sideline, might need one more pass inside, but good defense from an offensive player. And that was number 8, Maggie Ermertrout, that stole that ball out there on the right side. Another violation. Now, did she get too close for that strike? Is that what happened there?
That's exactly the call the umpire just made. She's holding her hands up with the number 5, meaning Beller did not give the C. Milton Wright player 5 yards before engaging.
Now,
Now, if that happens probably 1 or 2 more times, you're going to start seeing penalty cards issued by the umpires.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Those are cardable offenses. That was a great
another
quick
one.
hit.
Good run down the side there. Let's see if she switches it to the other side to anybody. Nice job there. One more pass or cut.
And she forced the corner.
Yeah, good job. So Belair is kind of controlling the beginning of the game, and see Milton Wright starting to pick up a little bit of momentum here. Got their 3rd good run down the field. So we're under 3 minutes here with 1-0 lead for Belair, with C. Milton Wright having a chance here.
Let's see if we can get a perfect C. Milton Wright attacking penalty corner execution. There's the insertion, reception.
A little trouble in that second play.
So what happened there, you see how the player turned her back to the Belair player, thereby screening the ball. Can't screen the ball. Ball has to be moving. And Beller's counterattack is brilliant, very quick. They didn't sit and wait and watch the umpire put up her hand. They just took off with the ball. Great job.
So we'll see if C. Milton Wright can even things up in the last 2 minutes of this quarter. We have short breaks in between each quarter here, and
so that was unfortunate. She tried to hit the ball out of the back end of the field and hit the ball a little too high, and the umpire called a foul.
So I'm not seeing a whole lot of subbing going on so far, Janice. I guess, teams are feeling each other out a little bit and not quite needed yet. These are the kind of programs that definitely have enough girls, and we just saw the JV game. It was a nice 1-0 game for C. Milton Wright.
Look at that great stick skills.
So I was looking at the rosters here. I only saw Reese Rizzi as a freshman.
Yep.
And then we have Peyton Gossman as a sophomore, Millie Moreland as a sophomore, Josie Mooring as a sophomore. And then we have 2 more sophomores, Morgan Thomas and KK Mann. So they have more underclass on their team at C. Milton Wright. As far as I saw before, Belair only has 1 underclass, 2 of them. Avery Frank is a sophomore, and Amelia Mason. All the rest are juniors and seniors, so they have a little bit more experience.
Exactly.
Did you carry many freshmen and sophomore when you coached?
Not many. Not many at all. Maybe 1 or 2.
So that ball hit somebody's stick and stopped dead. So 25 seconds to go here, Janice. You don't have much time. You got to get it downfield one way or the other a little bit quicker now. I don't mean to sound like bang ball, but don't you have to just kind of get a big strike?
Pretty much, that's what C. Milton Wright's been doing the last 5 minutes or so, just to get the ball out of the defensive end, and it's been effective.
So she'll stall this last 3 seconds here. So we finished the first quarter with a 1-0 lead for Belair, and really quick goal, 1 minute and 7 seconds into the game, we had a goal by Paige Fike, junior midfielder, and it was a really nice goal on her part. She had a pretty easy run to the goal, but she was kind of shoulders to the left, Janice, and then right before the shot, she kind of had to turn her shoulders and her hips to get the shot off.
Yeah, Paige Fike is definitely one of the most talented field hockey players in the county. She is very confident on the ball. Most of the time you'll see an insertion come to the top, you've got the ball stopped there, and then a big hit. Paige has the confidence to work, basically eliminate until she gets to the cage, and then she's there with a shot. So
some
she
good
did that
player
very
information
nicely.
here, Janice. Help me out here. I have Kenzie Bunn, the goalkeeper, is the president of Stars and SAD, and she's a junior on the junior class council. I have Reese Rizzi is wants to be a teacher and a coach, and I know she's a strong player. Um, and if you see any information I'm missing here, I have down here that Anna Boyce is on the senior council also, and she's planning on playing field hockey at college. I don't see a college of choice yet, but she wants to play in college.
You
She
also,
was second team All County last year. I think
believe
I
so.
had, yeah, a lot of All County girls from this team. We talked about Shelby Sullivan. She's going to play lacrosse at the University of Maryland. She was first team All County in 2022 and 23. So natural athlete. She's a UA top 150 recruit.
Wow. You have Winslow DePasso going to committed to Temple University to play Division I field hockey, and then you've got Claire Burrows also playing field hockey collegiately at York College.
Wow. My daughter went to York. It's a very nice campus. I love it up there. And if I make sure I don't repeat anything, let me see here. Any other good information we have here? You already said DePasso.
Well, we talked about Paige Fike from Bel Air, definitely one of the most talented field hockey players, and she'll be going to Division I to play lacrosse.
Wow. And I have down here that
Much to my chagrin, but I'm sure she's an awesome field lacrosse player.
Phoebe Hennessy was first team All County last year as well. Or 2020, no, second team in 2021 and 22. And then you were saying one of our coaches was an outstanding player, so that's pretty awesome.
Yep, and the center back for Bel Air, Faith Craigle, also a phenomenal player. She'll be attending Millersville next year to play field hockey.
So I think both teams got knocked out last year, Janice, before the regionals were over, is what they said, first and second round. So I'm imagining that they were knocked out by Falston or something like that, or North Hartford.
Or probably North Hartford.
You were saying, yes.
So that was great defensive work by C. Milton Wright to get that ball out of the defensive end. But here comes here comes Bel Air on the counter attack.
So you might get some shots later, folks. But we have a nice crowd here for a Monday night game. That's awesome.
You know, Bel Air is doing a great job on their counterattacks. They're not, as soon as they get possession of the ball, they're quick to start working the ball forward and start attacking the cage.
I'm always impressed by the stick skills that are displayed. The Bel Air player just made a cut. It was spinning the defenders around. How much of your time do you spend on just basic stick skill, Janice, when you're training your players?
A lot. Well, you know, we actually have a whole session just, here's an opportunity for C. Milton Wright.
That was a good job. The goalie didn't come out for that. She would have had a clear shot. Now we got a cross here.
Oh, lost the opportunity.
Yeah.
And look at this. Bel Air quick. Almost immediate on the transition to the offensive end.
So you see a lot, Janice, body position is important. So the C. Milton Wright player just tried to make a pass through, but the defender on Bel Air stood in front of her. And we call it ball side in a lot of sports. You got to have position. You got to fight for that position early. There's a little foul there, but it's one of the first times I've seen a player tripped. I don't know how uncommon that is.
So what happened in this case, the ball was given to C. Milton Wright. They got a free hit. The C. Milton Wright player started to move with the ball, but the Bel Air player did not give her 5 yards.
Oh.
When you're inside the 25-yard line, that is an automatic corner, and that's exactly what you saw. So they didn't have to wait for a foul to occur in the circle. They were granted, and as a coach, that's the last thing you want to see, a corner outside of the circle.
So you'll notice the clock does not stop on these long times between the corners starting. I'm starting to think that maybe at some point on one of these corners, the person receiving is going to have to do a quick trap and strike, because the Bel Air defense seems to get out pretty quick on them.
Okay.
Would you be happy with the defense Bel Air's doing on these corners? Because it looks to me
They're
like they're
doing
quick.
very well, yes. So what we have here is a penalty stroke happening.
Okay. Now, what do you think the violation may have been? To earn something like that, it seems like it has to be pretty flagrant to me.
Yes, exactly right. It had to be a flagrant foul.
See what the number we have here taking it.
Preventing her from taking a shot.
Did it go in? Oh. She accidentally put it in herself after she had saved it. See if we can see who our goal scorer was.
You know, that's amazing. I am not sure about that call. I'm not sure about that call.
Okay, you think they should have blown it dead?
I'm thinking if I was wearing my yellow jersey right now, I would be pulling out my rule book.
So that's Reese Rizzi.
The freshman. That's who Coach Kelsey went to for that penalty stroke. That's impressive. So now we've got a tie game going.
So that's a one-on-one, not like a penalty kick in other sports where people are on the edge getting ready to go in like the corner strike was. So you're saying in a normal thing like that's either a goal or it's not.
Right. So typically what happens when you award a penalty stroke, a couple of things have to happen. Either it's someone in the circle is getting ready to take a shot and they've got a wide open shot and a defender breaks down. It's called a breakdown foul. They break down that shot. So that's one way to earn yourself a penalty stroke. The next is if a player takes a shot and a field player, it hits their leg or something, otherwise it would have gone inside the cage, that would also constitute a penalty stroke.
So
in this case, I think it was a breakdown foul.
I like the job that Peyton Gossman did coming down the left side there a minute ago. She gained a lot of space.
Very quick, very quick. I love the way
she picked that up, Janice.
Yes, it's called 3D. It's called a 3D move. Putting the ball in the air and controlling it.
That's tough to defend, I would imagine, if you can pull that off.
It is. There are a couple of rules. In other words, if you've got the ball in the air and a defender comes up to you, you've got to put the ball down to about shin level.
Okay.
It's a nice aerial. I think Milton Wright has found.
They're definitely. Both teams are strong up the middle. They're very quick at the transition upfield. So they just lost that ball out of bounds.
But they're definitely finding their momentum here. This has been a completely different quarter. I don't know what it was that Coach Lovelace said to them during the quarter time huddle, but it worked.
Well, you talked about nerves. When I coached a lot of sports, getting through the first 5 minutes was important because that's where mistakes were often made.
So that should have been a whistle. There you go.
They did call it delayed. So I guess they were trying to see if there was advantage there. Puts this diagonally across the field. You got two players open. Nice continuation if she can get to it, but looks like Milton Wright came around the corner there. Should be a pass down the sideline to a teammate.
Oh, looks like a card's coming.
Yeah.
To who? Milton Wright or Bel Air? Looks like.
I think Milton Wright. She looked like she hit her with her stick.
All right, so that was issued to Shelby?
Yes.
Sullivan. It would seem to me that the call was just for aggressive play. You know, maybe a little too much hacking.
How long does she have to
go
off?
for the ball? It looks like it's a two-minute green card.
Okay. So they're playing the player down for 2 minutes. Now, does she have to enter at the end of 2 minutes, or can a sub come in for her?
Either one.
Okay.
Either way.
Now, this is where we're going to see if Milton Wright can stall a little bit, Janice.
Right.
Did you have a game plan for that? I mean, or you just tell them to play the same way?
A lot of times what you do is you change up your formation a little bit.
Okay.
Drop someone down, depending on what position just came out.
I like the diagonal runs this young lady makes. She realizes if she goes against the grain a little bit, she'll gain more field. So that looked like a violation on number 5. Stick was a little bit high there and hit the other young lady. Yeah, if you're Milton Wright, you want to get this penalty over with and then get back in your game. That was a unintentionally soft drop pass there.
Right.
Sometimes
and this is what I'm talking about in terms of Milton Wright's ability to get the ball out of the defensive end. A lot of times what you do is rely on power skills. You saw Sarah Durborough cranking the ball out of the defensive end with her big stick, and that was very effective. Otherwise, it looks like the rest of the defensive line is sort of struggling with getting ball speed on their hits.
So one thing I've seen in soccer, we have what we call stubbing your toe early in the ball into the turf. I've seen a couple of the Milton Wright players do that with their stick. They hit the turf the same time they're trying to strike the ball, and that looks like what happened on the drop pass attempt there. So let's see what they can do on this corner. Pass wide this time, back to the corner, across.
Good clear from the goalie.
Now see, folks, last week I mistakenly said I would have one-timed that, and Janice told me how hard it is to one-time. So good steal here.
I would have loved to see that ball go straight through to that corner instead of on the inside, because if you think about it, Bel Air, when you pass the ball on the inside, that's their strong side. They're waiting for that ball with the right side of their stick.
Well, and I also will tell you that I'm very impressed so far with Carrie Ermitrot on the outside defense here for Bel Air. She's shut down a lot already. You see those aggressive players, Janice. They're just the amount of aggressive that you want. They know how to step up and win the ball. Here's a nice move here again. Oh, she's open, Janice. If she can get this nice pass to the middle. Came back to her. Good
she kept
save.
It in.
Good defense. Wow, good
nice
job.
Nice ball control there.
And she should be getting this ball up to her teammate here.
Straight through. Nice pass. And again,
one more, relaying it downfield. Get it by him. There she is again.
That was a great defensive move by Bel Air.
And that's a different Bel Air defender. That was Faith Kriegel.
And that was smart. That was a very smart move by Faith. Get the ball out of bounds, let everyone reset.
They were very close to gaining like 50 yards if that ball gets by her, because they had already made 2 passes up the sideline. That would have been dangerous.
Exactly.
There's
another
a strike.
Circle entry.
It's in there. Let's see if she can get a shot off. Now, I have noticed that about 4 times in the last 6 possessions that Bel Air, Mustangs have made their own violation to turn the ball over in the offensive end. And that went down field quick, didn't it?
Yes, it sure did. And that's what this entire game, Bel Air's done a fantastic job getting the ball downfield immediately as soon as the whistle blows.
Oh, she's got a shot here. Just mistrapped
that was a missed opportunity there.
So let's see if Shelby can go over there and put a little pressure on. Okay, there's some sticks clanking out there from here. All the way down the left wing. That's a hard ball to control. Coming that fast with a player right on you, I'd imagine. So we only have 4 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the half, and we have a nice 1-1 score here.
Nice interception there.
Oops.
That's a hard whistle. You know there's trouble when you hear a hard whistle. So that's going to be a penalty card. Let's see how many minutes. I can't see that far, whether it's yellow or green.
So the Bel Air player fell, but I think they're calling it against Bel Air. So the player that went off was behind the action. So I don't know what happened there.
I think she felt that the Bel Air player was too aggressive, playing on the body way too much.
So they stopped the clock for this.
Right.
And then they run it again.
Restart on the whistle.
Nice cut back there. Let's see if she can get this down the left side here. Aggressiveness out there by both teams right in the middle.
Good stop.
Steal from behind here, maybe. I like how the player came in from behind.
It's Winslow DePasso on the ball. She's got great hands.
Nice shot.
Ooh, so close,
Oh,
so close. She got a stick on that ball, but it hit the post and went out of
wow.
bounds.
Did everything you wanted to do on that. That was nice. The goalie's best friend, the post, most of the time. Let's see here. They're going to do a free clear here. Here's the shot. Oh, it did hit the post. Wow.
You can see a very disappointed forward. I'm not sure who that is.
Number 4. Yeah, that was Aubrey Hunsinger. She was like, why couldn't that bounce out right to me? I could have put it right back in if it bounces to me. Now, we talked about those pretty goals and ugly goals, and sometimes it's just the rebounds that pop right out front, and you're just there to clean it up. Be opportunistic. 3:07 to go. Oh, that's dangerous, Janice.
Yep.
She anticipated that well. Forced her wide, I like that, but she let her turn in the middle. Now this is where you shield off and see if you can let it go out of bounds. But
Milton Wright caught a break right there.
Yeah,
Still in. It's still in.
I liked how she pushed her out to the sideline, but she let her spin back to the middle to get a clear cross.
And that's what you want to do as a defender. You want to force the attacker to your strong side.
So we got some play out here on the sidelines. He's pulling it back. Nice job setting her up with that move.
There's Paige with her
Jeez.
tremendous stick skills. Like I said, it's like bring it on. She's very confident.
Yeah, she sets you up. It looks like she just sets you up. Little pullback. So everybody on Milton Wright looking like they're trying to guard a player or territory. She's going through them again, and then she decides to send it across. Nice job out there as well.
With Winslow, good. Surprised they didn't blow the whistle on that. She didn't give her 5 yards for that hit.
So it'll be interesting if anybody can score here in the last minute 40 or go in tied at half here. So it's a free ball inbounds from a dangerous spot here, Janice, to try to get the ball out. Pinned in on your sideline and your half of the field, and they did steal it for Bel Air.
Yeah, that was Anna Boyce trying to get it in on the side there. And they're over the 50. Nice interception, Claire Burrows. But Paige Feek
Yeah,
controlling
Paige,
the ball.
she controls that middle
Fike,
really
I'm
well.
sorry.
Fike, yeah, she controls that middle very well. But what's in the middle there?
And quickly Sarah's going to take that hit.
Yeah, can she beat the defender to it? Yes, she can. Nice cutback.
She's got great ball control.
Oh, nice job getting a stick on that to keep it controlled.
30 seconds left in the half. See if they can force a corner.
Now, is the clock rolling this? Do they have to hurry up?
Well, as long as they can get the corner before the
Oh,
time.
they didn't call a corner. They called a regular possession there. Oh, they lost it again.
Good job, Bel Air. Avoided that corner.
Trying to put that ball in there quickly. It's still there. They got seconds left to try to put this ball on goal. Oh, that was dangerous.
Oh, they got it. They got it.
So they get to have this corner, correct?
They sure do.
Okay.
6 seconds left on the clock, and they managed to squeak out a corner call.
Now, as a person that officiates, are you now putting this on your own timer? You're officiating, 6 seconds?
Nope. You play until the ball crosses the hash line. So you've got
it's either
the
cleared
circle.
or it's out of bounds.
Exactly. It's got to go at least 5 yards beyond the circle.
I like that. Boy, can that be interesting. Finish the half on a opportunity to score here. Pivotal moment for both teams. Okay, pass out wide. She's going to probably try to cross it. Oh, it's on goal area, but blocked by the goalie. Good job.
And that should do it.
Okay. Wow. Well, that was an entertaining half, Janice. I saw a little bit of momentum swings for both teams here. I felt like Bel Air started out controlling it, but then to your point, Cement Wright looked nervous, but then they started getting into the game. So what are your thoughts?
Absolutely. I think, the first minute and a half of the game, I was thinking, uh-oh. I was a little I was a little worried. Maybe this wasn't going to be the game that we were expecting, but true to form, Milton Wright stepped up in the second quarter, and it's a brand new ball game.
So we had two quick scores in each quarter. You had a goal a minute and 7 seconds into the game for Paige Fike off of a corner, and then you had a goal just 3 minutes and 8 seconds into the second quarter by Reese Rizzi. So we're going to take I don't know if that clock's accurate. If the half is this short, then we'll stay up for you, and we will. I'm going to ask you what I ask the coaches all the time, Janice. You're each head coach. What are you talking about in your huddle right now that you want to see continue or change?
Well, if I'm at Milton Wright, what I would be telling my defensive line is we have to do a much better job doing two things. The first thing is on our outlets. We've got to clear that ball out on our defensive hits. Too often, the pace of the ball is way too slow. They're being easily intercepted by Bel Air, and then all of a sudden you have a circle entry and with your numbers down, and it's a problem. So that's the first thing I would say. The second thing is I believe they need to speed it up. They're taking way too much time. When the whistle blows and you know it's your free hit, take the ball. Bel Air's not waiting. Before you turn around, Bel Air's ball is all the way back in your defensive end. So those are the two things that I would be asking my defensive line to do a little differently.
So the other team, what are you saying for Bel Air?
What I would say for Bel Air is I think that they need to start taking shots. In other words, it's not very often that we're seeing a lot of circle entries, which is great, but we're not seeing a lot of shots.
No,
They're dribbling that in way too close to the goalie and giving the defensive line too much time to then, defend against that. So what they need to do is rely on a shot from either just outside the circle or just inside the circle, and then rely on the rebound. Trust your forwards to push it in off the rebound.
Well,
so that's the thing I would do a little
It's
different
funny
there.
you say that because soccer, field hockey, lacrosse, ice hockey, as coach, you get mad at your parents that are just like, shoot, constantly. And you're like, sometimes they say it too much. But to your point, as a coach, you also have these moments where you're like, you're trying to wait for the perfect opportunity. You're not even testing the goalie yet. You tested him on one play a minute and 8 into the game. But I agree with you. They've had a lot of chances just to see what happens. And, I mean, I scored a lot of goals off of defenders' legs. And I'm sure you have too. So, yeah, and that's interesting. I think it's a pretty evenly matched game right now. Both keepers. Now, it was kind of an unfortunate mishap on Reese Rizzi's goal. The goalie had stopped it but not realized she stopped it. And with all that equipment and padding and everything on, she was looking around for the ball and she accidentally tipped it into the goal. But I've seen that done before. So.
Yeah, she had a great initial save.
It was my first experience of seeing a penalty shot. So I when you talked about some of these teams having the shootout at the end of games in overtime, I'm kind of greedily rooting for one time. I want to see what it looks like. It sounds like a lot of fun for the fans.
I always try to tell my players to shoot to the goalie's left. Their weaker side, because both, trying to save it with their left leg and or their left arm, unless they're left-handed, of course. But usually that's always the best bet. Shoot to the player's right side, the goalie's left side.
So you were telling me last game there's no such thing as a left-handed stick.
Correct.
So
except on April Fool's Day. There's always an advertisement somewhere, and that's always passed around on Instagram or somewhere. Hey, they've come out with a left-handed stick.
Well, here's a good shot of the Bel Air huddle, and the coaches giving a little last-minute advice. And sometimes I like to let the captains and the seniors talk. And see if that makes a big impact. You see our keeper here walking with all that equipment.
Yeah.
I'd just be tired just wearing all that equipment.
And I'm trying to see whether or not they did a goalie change. Is that Mackenzie Leeson coming in?
Might be.
I'm having trouble seeing her goalie jersey.
So the goalies, I always think it's awesome. They either like the 00 or sometimes they get a big number. So we have 00 for Bel Air.
So they did make a goalie change. That's Mackenzie Leeson, if that's 00.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you do that very often? Have you had many years where sometimes you have a starting goalie who's clearly ahead of the other one? Other years, you're lucky enough to have two outstanding goalies. Do you like to give them a whole game or a half a game each?
I usually like to give them a whole game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Is it depending on
it's
the
not-
score?
The score, of course.
Mm-hmm. Like
But,
if you're
obviously, Coach, the Bel Air coach has a lot of confidence in both of her goalies. So
I was going to say, I had a couple years where I had the depth, and if it was a really close game, tie game, 1-goal game, my starting goalie was doing well, I wanted to reward him or her with staying in. And if it was a tough luck game where the other team has scored a couple goals, and even if it wasn't the goalie's fault and they were a little bit flustered, sometimes sending in a fresh goalie is a good idea. So we're 1-1 here into the third quarter. Looking like we're going to go down to a good match here.
another aerial, very nice aerial.
Now they called that one.
That was a tough call. If there are two players from the opposing team receiving the ball, that's going to be called dangerous. However, in that case, you can see Milton Wright was clearly the receiver. The other player was about 5 yards away, which is the rule. Nice pull.
It's right around the goal. It's in.
There it is.
So
That was Winslow DePeso.
wow. That was
Unassisted. Taking the ball in all the way and putting it in the back of the cage.
yeah. That ball went from one end to the other, midfield to the other, very quickly, and
She's got tremendous ball handling skills, and she too is very confident. Keeps the ball on her stick the whole time. And then
backhands it. Yeah.
a quick backhanded shot.
Wow. So that was at about the 14-minute mark there. 1 minute
Looks
to
like
go.
1 minute
So that
in.
seems to be our pattern. Early in each quarter. Now you said when you hit it backhanded, you have to do a specific thing. Didn't you? You couldn't use
Well,
the back of your stick.
You have to use the
outside or
flat.
edgewood.
You have to use the flat side of your stick to
Okay.
hit the ball, or you can use the edge of the
Okay.
stick. In this case, even though she backhanded it, she used the flat side of her stick for that goal. You're going to see Paige Fike here.
Well, I'm impressed. Milton Wright seemed like they were lost the first 5 minutes, and they've come back and taken a 2-1 lead. And let's see how Bel Air can respond. Now let's see if they do what they've done the whole game, Janice. You said they quickly get it out, but they take it a little bit longer here.
Milton Wright does not. Bel Air does, and I think
Oh, Milton Wright, you're right.
Milton
Yes.
Wright definitely needs to.
Yeah, they
begin.
literally let them set up.
Exactly.
Just wide. When we would have goal kicks or defensive clears in soccer, I used to hate it when coaches would say, well, shouldn't you send your biggest footed person back to kick it? And I'm like, and let the other team just all set up and get goal side of their defender and just be in a step-up position? No. If somebody is wide open, the nearest person should take it, pass it to them immediately, and transition upfield. And I think that's
Exactly.
what you're saying here.
Yes, absolutely. That was unfortunate. Sarah did try to hit the ball big out of the back end, but she lifted the ball too high. It became dangerous, and so now there's a free hit for Bel Air right at the top of the circle.
This is a dangerous spot here, all those bodies in between. So she's looking for a pass. She's got those skills, but they stole it. Put that ball out wide.
It's Winslow DePeso. And now you've got, is that Shelby Sullivan?
Looks like it.
Nice pass.
See if she can gather it back. Good job clearing it. Stole that. Trying to put it out to the right side again. Shelby's got that thing we talked about before that every coach likes, speed. She can get down that sideline quickly, and she is strong. I mean, she is physically just very strong.
So that was unfortunate. She didn't travel with the ball more than 5 yards before she entered the circle, therefore turnover. I'm not sure why the umpire's calling the free hit back for Bel Air. I think it was taken at the wrong spot.
Okay.
Making a correction there.
Okay. And how important is that? Do you really want to call that as an official? There's 5 yards difference from where you hit it from.
Yes, 1 stick length is about all you're going to get.
Okay.
There's another forced corner. So the umpire, I believe, felt that Bel Air was being too aggressive, riding the body as Milton Wright was dribbling the ball, and so therefore called the corner even though it was outside of the circle. One thing I was going to point out, when Bel Air has the ball, check out number 1, Reese Rizzi, the freshman. She is man-marking Paige Fike, number 33.
Yeah,
so
that's
this
smart.
is going to be interesting.
That's smart coaching. I mean, Paige obviously has such stick control where she can gain field possession so much. So let's see who she passes this to.
But one of
Nice pass. Flicked it in there. Oh, partial continuation. This is an important battle right here. She's trying to get this ball across. Kind of snuck through there. Wow, that was
another corner, another opportunity.
Now that ball snuck through a lot of sticks there, and I thought that would have been able to be cleared. And we talked about that earlier, the importance of being able to clear the ball.
Yeah, and Bel Air has a very strong defensive unit, meaning not only the defensive line, but also the defensive mid, the low mid.
So it's
I believe
8 on 5, Janice?
They're all seniors.
Is it 8 on 5? Is that the exact numbers that you get for a corner?
Could be.
Or it's still sneaking through?
It depends on how many of the defenders you bring up front too.
Okay.
But basically, Bel Air gets 4 back. There's a good clear. Now you're in.
All the way downfield.
Yep. Now you're in Milton Wright's defensive third, which is exactly where Bel Air wants to be.
So you see them marking up all over the field, trying to cut down angles. Oh, that was a stick right Ray. She should be able to get a pass and a shot. I thought she had a open player in the middle there. I thought maybe she was going to do a slide pass there.
Taking way too long. There's a foot. Let's see if it was called. It sure was.
So we're approaching the 8-minute mark, almost midway through this quarter.
Both teams are doing a phenomenal job. This has been a really exciting game.
She was trying to switch fields on that, Janice, right away, but it was intercepted.
That's the one thing I think that we want to see more of, and that is transfers from right to left.
Yes. Yeah, we call that switching fields in soccer, and you do want to get to the open side of the field if it's wide open. That's a shot from the outside.
There you go. Forced a corner.
I'm going to say that even though Bel Air is breaking out some, Milton Wright seems to be gaining some momentum here. And with that confidence, they seem like a different team than the beginning of the game.
They sure do. I guess the jitters are gone, huh?
Yeah, I used to laugh at my players and athletes in different sports, and I'd be coaching track, and they're like, "This track's bigger, coach." I'm like, "No, it's not. It's the same size. This soccer field's bigger." "No, it's not. It's the same size, I promise you." "The pool's longer." "No, it's 25 yards or meters long. It's the same thing." But you do get nervous, especially when you go away to a big rival. So she can get this past the teammate. Good steal by Bel Air.
So that's one of the things that, as a coach, I always worry about too many passes in a corner. I want to see an insertion, a reception, and a shot.
Yeah, you're the expert, but I actually did think that myself. I was thinking
It's just too much risk involved. You
Mhm.
know, too many opportunities to miss.
That was a good steal. Let's see who that is.
Looks like it's Claire Burrows.
Knocked it down.
Nice.
Good job so far. Oh, it's in there. She got a
Bad luck. It looks like she is getting called for a foot.
Yeah, she had a clear chance to take a strike
There's
at the ball there.
Faith Craigle. Not her typical big hit.
Mm-hmm.
She's
A little body pushing
she
there.
usually has a power hit that's unstoppable.
So Janice, in all your years of playing for you and your girls, did you ever try to put some ice skates on and try ice hockey?
Never.
Never
Can't-
had the
don't know how to
desire, huh?
skate. Look how quick. There it is.
Okay, that's a tough deflection there. So,
So it looked like everyone stopped playing, but the whistle was not blown. and
yeah,
it
that was odd.
But still a live ball.
And then the player decided just to play it out of bounds on the sideline
I
until they
think, yeah,
set up.
looked like someone was hoping for a corner there and waiting for the
Mhm.
whistle to blow. Here's Paige Fike again. See if she could. They're really watching Paige very well, marking her well.
Now this is off of a defender out of bounds. So it's not like the other kind of corner foul where you have a free ball and
So
limited defenders. So they're just pushing it back out to the 25-yard line.
And so it's a free hit at the 25-yard line
Right.
when it's out on the defense.
Oh, cutting back to the middle is a little dangerous there. Good steal here down the
And you
sideline.
can see Milton Wright's playing it on their left side, which is their weak side, and Bel Air's strong side, which explains why they're having a really difficult time breaking through.
They keep trying to pass it to the other side, but getting deflections and stops by Bel Air. I'm looking at the young lady on the far side
That's
of the
a
field.
really nice push pass by freshman Reese Rizzi. There's a foot, and boom, take it. Good job.
Good job going diagonal here. I love this. She has a player on the right side wide open if she wants to use her. I am seeing that wide open person on the wing that they're not tending to push it to.
That was Peyton Gossman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for Peyton. This is her first game back after missing 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
She was attending a camp or a clinic at Kutztown.
Oh, there's a loose ball. Good job. Goalie got down and blocked that.
Very nice. Anyway, got hit in the mouth with a field hockey ball and lost her 2 front teeth.
Oh,
Can you believe that? So she's gone through surgeries and back for the first time, and I went to talk to her. She's looking great.
well, that answers my question that I had asked you last game about how often you've been hit in the head, the face, the teeth, and that's why they wear the mouth guards too,
Yep.
but it can't completely protect you.
Yeah, she had her mouth guard in.
Have you had players lose teeth before?
Yes, actually, Bel Air's center back, Faith Craigle, in 8th grade during one of our warm-ups before a tournament. Unfortunately, she couldn't make the tournament during our warm-up. She got hit in the mouth and lost a tooth and had to go right to the emergency room.
Wow. So we have another corner here for C. Milton Wright. And I'm agreeing with you on both teams, Janice. I really think that one pass, 2 hit, but they're not getting the shots off a lot. I'd rather get off any shot than no shot. Does that sound too basic?
No, it's not.
I mean, as a coach, are you just
That would be my go-to
are you finally saying to your players, what are you looking for here? Just
because I want a shot. Right now, we're unable to get a shot off here.
Mm-hmm. I like the switching fields here. Now let's see if they can get this ball across.
Good pass, Bel Air.
Now she needs to wait for teammates, and then she did. She let them go past her, and now she's looking for some space. Nice cut back. And she's going to look to push it down there. Violation.
And look how quickly
Yeah.
Paige Fike just takes off with the ball. She's not waiting.
Hit her teammate's foot, unfortunately. Sometimes you can't really help that. You're running with your back to the play.
Great clear.
Let's see if the defense steals it back. Both teams looking. Who was that on?
That was a foul on Reese against Page.
Oh, look at that.
So that's a smart aerial into open space.
Mm-hmm.
So no danger call there.
There's a
They're
dangerous
inside
spot
the
here.
circle now.
Got to get this out here. I'm a little surprised that the Milton players are cutting back towards the goal, that close to their goal. I know they want to get it to the right side, but.
And look at Page Fike. Oh, that's a corner.
I like to tell my athletes, get it out of our zone a little bit here before we worry about cutting it back.
Paige is so smart. She's such a smart player. The whistle blew. It's Beller's ball. She takes off with the ball. It's instinctive on the defensive end. So you had Reese Rizzi right there. She sees Paige moving the ball. She almost can't stop herself from trying to play the ball, which is exactly what Reese did. Unfortunately, that cost them a corner.
Yeah, well, top players can make you do things you don't want to do, right?
Exactly. So here's Faith Craigle with the insertion. Nice hard sweep.
She missed it
Unfortunate.
there. Came back to her, though.
She'll just.
It's around the goal.
Very lucky. Very lucky for Sue Milton Wright.
Man, I thought for a second there it might have snuck in, but just wide.
Down to the last 5 seconds of this quarter.
Yeah, this is where you say don't play the ball in at all, unless the referees are telling you to play it in. Okay, we're done three quarters here, and we have a 2-1 lead for C. Milton Wright. They were down 1-0 on a goal by Paige Fike, who's been a player that's very much been dominant in this game, especially the possession down the middle of the field. Reese Rizzi scored a penalty strike. Is that what you call it?
Penalty stroke.
Yep, penalty stroke. And then we got a really nice goal by Winslow DePesso. I swear the ball went from the midfield line down to the goal in 3 seconds. She made one move and took a nice shot. So, Janice, I think this is a very exciting game, and it's anybody's game at this point.
Absolutely. This has been an exciting game to watch. I'm glad it's lived up to expectations.
Yes. You wouldn't want to see a 2-3 goal game in two teams like this that are so evenly matched up. I don't know if I have all the results. I do have C. Milton Wright's results here. They had lost 1-0 to North Hartford, and like you said, that's a very good team. They lost to Hereford 1-0, and even though you're the field hockey person, I just know that a lot of friends that coach sports in this county, and Hereford seems to be another school that's good at everything.
Oh, they're extremely good, extremely good. In fact, they're regionally ranked number 13. The other team that Sue Milton Wright lost to was NDP,
yes.
and they are regionally ranked number 6. And here we are playing Bel Air, and they're regionally ranked 12. So very tough schedule all around.
So they obviously beat Rising Sun. We don't have the score, but I think they might have scored a good amount of goals in that game. And that's what's, I'll tell you what I respect about coaches. I used to coach a lot of sports, and now that they have the open playoff format where everybody makes the playoffs, why have easy games on your schedule? Right. If you're a good team, schedule good opponents, because especially since they don't count in your back standings or things like that, why not challenge your players so that you are ready for the playoffs? And some coaches get that and some don't. And these teams, they seem to get that.
Yeah.
Did you do that when you coached? Did you deliberately?
I sure did. I was very
Anna
intimately
Rundle team that was
involved
good.
With I was intimately involved with the schedule.
Right.
The late great Paul Perkovich.
Yes.
Loved working with him, and he was very good about scheduling very, very competitive games.
Isn't there an Anna Rundle coach that's like right up there with Alice Puckett for wins in history, and they've won a ton of state championships?
Park.
Yes, that's who it was. Did you ever get to play them?
No, we never got to play them.
Okay.
They were a 4A school. Yeah, we just never did.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to coach at a lot of places, and I would go to my ADs as soon as I was introduced as a coach and say, I know you're making the schedule 2 years, 3 years down the line. I want to play these teams.
Yeah.
And Hereford was always a good opponent. Loch Raven was always a good Baltimore County opponent. Perry Hall in a lot of sports.
In
Yeah.
hockey, Garrison Forest was always really
Oh,
big too.
yes.
In fact, C. Milton Wright used to attend various invitational, preseason tournaments and things like that.
Janice, that shot almost went in from way out here.
But it wouldn't have counted.
Oh,
no,
you're
no
right,
one inside
yes.
the circle touched
Okay,
it.
nobody got there, yes.
And so the goalie reacted as she should, which is
Okay,
very
showing
calmly.
my ignorance of rules there, folks. I was impressed by how close it actually got, but I like the strike because
Now
if somebody
that-
gets in there and deflects it,
Now that's a typical Faith Kregel power hit out of the defensive end.
everybody move up. Let's try to get possession, steal it back here.
If you're a forward lineman, you would certainly back up about 10 yards just to give
Mhm.
yourself time to react to her hit. You got to respect her hit.
She's passing it across field. Now they're going to try to get up to the right side here. They had a teammate open initially. Now she's got a one-on-one. Good move initially there. Stolen back. So we're down to 13 minutes to go in the game, and Bel Air is going to have to answer. Do you ever start thinking about doing something like moving the fight girl up top? And how late before you would do that?
Yes, the answer to that question is not very, very much so. Yes,
Okay.
I would do that, and Paige might do that herself here pretty soon.
Okay.
If I know her,
She'll just start pushing up.
She's just going to. At some point, I think Paige, when she played indoor hockey for us, she would just, if we needed a goal, she
Mhm.
would just go make it happen. She would just go get it. She's got that mindset.
So she's in the back of those. Like, is she the front of a diamond here, or is she in the back of three forwards?
So she's the attacking mid. So
Right.
she's right behind the forward line, which puts her in that's why she is their leading goal scorer. She's in the right position.
So you maybe push her up a little bit more on clears and hope she can steal gain possession and just have a one-on-one instead of a one-on-two.
Right.
Though she's been
But-
able to go through one-on-twos and one-on-threes so far.
What you're seeing, though, is she's finding herself dropping back a little bit more in the defensive end. And actually right now, as I'm looking, sometimes it almost appears that she's the defensive mid
Mhm.
instead of the attacking mid. So either she's switching positions or she's finding herself having to drop back to help the defense.
Mhm. Now, we only have 11 minutes to go here, so I'll at least bring it up. What are the rules for overtime again if we get there, we get a tie?
So if there's a tie, there will be they can have up to 2 sudden victory 10-minute overtime.
Okay.
And if it's still tied after 2 10-minute overtime, then you go into shootouts.
Hmm.
Each team gets 5 players to go one-on-one with the goalie. They start at the 25-yard line. They have 8
Mhm.
seconds to go one-on-one with the goalie.
So I didn't see anything wrong in that situation, but I don't know what happened. There was just a pass across field, C. Milton Wright to C. Milton Wright, and they gave it back to Bel Air again for a clear in the same spot. So I'm not sure what violation they would have
And
had there.
she must have saw a foot foul of some sort.
It still got the ball. Good. Now, right there, Janice, we have what we call advantage or possession in soccer. She was going out with the ball anyhow, but they still called it back. Can the
Yeah.
official just let that go and let her possess it?
The answer is yes. In fact, very often you'll see an umpire hold her hand up, giving that advantage and not blowing the whistle,
Right.
but signaling, I saw something, you have possession of the ball, I'm not going to interrupt your play because you
Right.
still have the advantage.
Okay.
And that's what could have been called at that.
Yeah, I would have rather had the advantage than let the other team
Right.
set up. Now, you got a nice chance down here going down the right sideline. And number
Number
12, yeah. Looks like Katie Smith had that, and she lost it. Now she's trying to defend it back.
Well, that was a nice coming back for the ball there by number 5.
A lot of good.
Right.
The Fike young lady has the ball now. Let's see what she can do.
Grace Lewinsky.
So, getting down to crunch time here. Need to make something happen soon. Nice ball to the middle. Boy, that ball's bouncing all around in there. See the frustration on the Bel Air player. They're like, I'm so close to getting a shot off, and I just accidentally did this.
So I'm really surprised that that wasn't a whistle. The Bel Air player was nowhere near 5 yards away. You know, each side, the players have been playing a long time. Not a whole lot of substituting going on. You know, they're exhausted. It's a close game. And so they're going to do things that they ordinarily don't, just to slow down the game.
Now, we haven't had this yet, but how much more difficult is it to play field hockey in the rain when it comes to the turf and stuff? Does it really affect the game?
Well, I think for the most part, I remember when I played in the rain, it's, you know, your hands get really cold and they're not as nimble. You can't feel the stick like you.
Numbness, yeah.
So it makes for a big difference. Here's Claire Burrows with the ball, really nice cut. See if she passes it up through to her teammate.
Yeah,
is that
nice
Winslow DePesso?
Oh, she's got it.
No, it's not. Is that Shelby?
Looks like
can't tell.
Shelby. Yes, it is Shelby.
Shelby Sullivan.
I could tell by her tan. Shelby's got a good tan going here. She's a strong player. I mean, she just had a burst of speed there that got her some possession. So, is that a foul with a time? It's just another corner strike.
Correct.
Now, how many timeouts do the coaches get?
Should be only one per game.
Per game, okay. I don't think either team has used it, have they?
I have not seen a timeout.
No. That could be important later on. If she finally got one off, deflection there.
That's a stroke. That's a penalty stroke.
Okay.
That's an interesting call.
So what is the violation there? What did the defender get a part of the body on it that they shouldn't have?
I believe what she's calling, the reason she's calling this penalty stroke is the hit was taken. C. Milton Wright put a stick out. They were deflecting the ball, and it hit the body of a Bel Air player. If that body wasn't there, if it had not hit her, it would have gone into the cage. So that's an automatic penalty stroke.
So you got Winslow DePesso taking the penalty stroke here. I've seen two things. I've seen a direct hit, and I've seen a push and a hit. She scores.
Bottom right side for the player, left side for the goalie.
Now, do you see what she did there? She waited for the goalie to commit to the goalie's right, and she went to the goalie's left.
Yeah, she definitely saw her lean. Now, the goalie is not allowed to move their feet at all.
So this is a big lead to me in a game this close. A 2-goal lead is huge at this point. Here it is, Janice.
You can see.
Leans.
Actually, she leaned this way.
Yeah.
She leaned right.
She struck
and
that.
Winslow went to her left.
How would you call that? That wasn't a slap
just
shot.
a push.
It was a push shot. Yeah. She got a lot of velocity on that for just a push shot.
And on penalty strokes, you're not allowed to strike the ball.
Okay.
You have to have your stick on the ball and push. You can flick it up in the air, or you can push it low on the ground.
That
either
was
way.
impressive. A lot of speed on that shot. So now we have 7:21 to go, Janice, and not to talk like dirty pool here, but it's not dirty pool. It's a tactic. How do you slow the game down as the team leading by 2? Do you shield the ball legally more when you're going down sidelines? Do you pin it in corners? Is there anything you could do tactically?
So a couple of things. You play a possession game, meaning pass, but you may have to make sure the ball pace is high and your receptions are clean.
Okay.
So that's number one. Number two is put the ball in the defense, in the attacking end, the offensive end, and then start dribbling the ball in the corner, just making sure that you're moving the ball all the time.
Yeah, I was thinking the corners would be a spot. Now, I would not be cutting back to the middle if I was a defender on C. Milton Wright right now. We had different stall tactics.
And I would be taking my time here.
Yes, I was going to say that's a stall tactic. Before you said hurry up and do the hit. Sometimes now it's like.
Well, that's the last person you want to hit the ball to.
Right.
Paige Fike.
Yes.
Great job by freshman Reese Rizzi breaking up that hit.
Paige is skilled, but she's also so strong. When they've been stick to stick, she's wins like 80% of them.
Yep.
Nice move.
She's very deliberate in her moves.
Wow. Now she's trying to get it across.
Again, that's really good. You see Reese Rizzi
Mm-hmm.
throwing her body in the way and willing to take a hit.
Nice ball. So she was interfered with coming out.
Yep, so that was a stick foul.
Trying to switch it to the right side. Oh,
That's
good job. Oh, not quite got to her. Very important moments here in the middle of the field. The
If I'm
people
Milton
fighting.
Wright, that's the player I want with the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm Belair, that's the person I want with the ball. Paige Fike.
So do you, with 5:29 to go, you may start thinking about a timeout on an important possession, I would imagine, sometime in the next 4 minutes.
So that, yes. Yes, I think Belair probably could have called a timeout a little earlier on when Milton Wright was gaining more and more momentum, slowing them down. Would have been probably a good call. But I know as a coach, so often you get tied up into the game that, you know, you don't think about slowing it down.
Stick to stick there.
So that's an interesting call, but there you go. An opportunity for Belair. Corner.
So on the fouls, there were people were carded. The clock stopped, but on these corners, the clock runs.
That's correct.
So you see the Belair player running over the ball over because they know time is not on their side. This is a huge play here, Janice.
It is huge. We're looking for perfect execution by Belair. You've got Faith Craigle and inserting the ball to Paige Feek. She's gonna.
She's got the shot. Oops, no, she's trying to get in there pretty close. Somebody got a save
Good
there.
save by the goalie.
Did she kick it? I wasn't quite sure.
That's going to be coming out. Not sure what that call was.
So can you sub on the fly in field hockey?
Yes.
So
You
would
just
you
have to
talked
wait
about
for the player to come all the way off.
you talked
before
about the goalie situation before. With the ball all the way up here, have you ever ran your goalie off right now for Belair and subbed another field player on?
Usually what they'll do is they'll stop the clock for a goalie
Okay.
to come out because, you know, it's very difficult for the goalie to run.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't imagine running with all that equipment on. Oops, misplayed it. So the clock is not Belair's friend, Janice. It's getting ready to tick under the 3-minute point here. They need to make something happen soon.
They have a big opportunity, though. Milton Wright has not been able to get the ball out of their defensive end for a few minutes now.
Kind of set her up there. Good move again. All the way across. That's coming at the goal.
That's outside of the. So everyone's. I would be panicked too, but in truth, that ball was hit outside of the circle. No one from Belair touched the ball inside the circle.
Right.
Therefore, it's not a goal. It's a free hit at the 25-yard line coming into the attacking side. There's one. Okay. Oh, she fed it right back to her.
Yeah, you said before that's not the player you want to get the ball. So see if this goes out for possession for C. Milton Wright. So let's see if C. Milton Wright can get that pivotal clear you've been talking about. They've had some trouble.
Okay. Somebody call a timeout.
Yes. Now, can you call a timeout if it's not your possession? If it's just a dead ball?
I don't believe so.
So then that has to be the C.
Milton
Milton
Wright.
Wright with the timeout.
If I'm Coach Kelsey, I'm probably saying, ladies, look at the clock.
Yes.
Let's talk strategy. How are we going to burn through a minute and 56 seconds?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think one of the things you're saying, first of all, is don't give the ball to Fike. You know, don't let it go back to her. Hit it to anybody else on a clear, but not her.
You know, part of C. Milton Wright's strategy, obviously, they know the Bel Air team really, really well. Part of their strategy was to do what they've been doing, and that is man mark Fike, shut her down as much as you can, and prevent her from producing goals for Bel Air.
Well, if you really think about it, other than the opening goal, they've been I think she scored our first goal, didn't she?
She did.
They've been able to make her the playmaker to try to cross it and hit into the area, the goal area. So it has worked to this point. I mean, she had her easiest run probably of her career on that first goal, just bringing it right into goal uncontested on the corner. And you're right, she seems to have two players on her at all times right now.
Right. Let's see what C. Milton Wright is going to do here.
So you see a lot of numbers over here for Bel Air defense.
Yeah, there's still time. There's still time for Bel Air. So they went with a big hit from Sarah Durborough. Or was that? Yeah, Anna Boyce.
So you kind of want to clog her up over here.
So if I'm Reese Rizzi, I'm slowing it down. I'm walking.
Yeah, she's more polite than I am. I'm with you. I would have walked. They
That's
need
a nice
one
strong
clear.
hit.
If C. Milton Wright gets one possession downfield, it's going to be really hard.
That's a nice quick start by number 4.
Serving
Hit.
in. Oh, she almost
Wow.
deflected that. That was a good
Almost.
try.
That was
that like
well executed.
Was that number 15 it looked
I
like?
think it might have been 14 maybe on Bel Air. Number 4 was bringing it down. What's that? Oh, Faith Craigle. Is that Faith Craigle? Yep.
Yeah, that was a good redirect. It just foot and a half off goal.
So if I'm Winslow, I'm going to my right.
Yeah. She did one of the
Also the
lifts. I was waiting
aerial,
for that.
yep.
Oh, that's a strike. Jeez. You needed that to hit somebody, didn't you?
That was definitely Faith Craigle. Again, I would be shooting at the goal cage.
Yeah.
Because when the ball's coming that hard, you know, it's hard to remember to lift your foot up and let it go into the cage because the ball's being hit from outside. So a lot of times the goalie will try to stop it, and then Bel Air's there to get the rebound.
Right. Can hit the post too, so we're down to.
So C. Milton Wright's got to start possessing the ball. They are not possessing the ball.
Well, she's giving her a chance to shoot.
There's Avery Frank with the pass.
I would have shot that. That's just me with the
And
clock.
here's a corner.
So this will be the last play of the game.
It will be. And they may not play it out simply because it's not going to
Two-goal game.
make a difference.
Right.
But let's see. Let's see what they're going to do. Looks like they will play it out.
There it is. Gonna take a quick shot.
So it's coming out. That's
So it's
game
it.
is too high.
So celebration here for C. Milton Wright. It's a big win for them. They move to 2 and 3, and Bel Air drops to 2 and 3. But I'm going to say that these are two quality teams that we're going to see doing a lot of good things this year. Recapping the score here: Paige Fike, minute into the game, Reese Rizzi, followed by Winslow DePesso, and then Winslow DePesso again. Got the last 2 goals. Great game for both teams. I think they were both well coached. I think the officiating was solid.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, we didn't
They
see
did
anything
a
that was
fantastic
glaring.
job. They really did.
So what are your thoughts about this matchup and these teams' future, Janice, before I wrap it up?
Well, I think they lived up to the expectation. This was a really, really well-played game. On both sides, they've got a lot of great talent on both teams. I think they're going to do very well in the postseason, so I can't wait to see how that goes. You know, we have 12 current and former H2O players on the C. Milton Wright team, and we had 8 on the Bel Air team. So,
Well
you know, I
represented.
was really happy with, again, the level of talent on both sides. So,
Well, and like you said earlier, that's 20 players that know each other,
Exactly.
and they're close, and they're going to be, talking to each other after the game and so forth. Well, Janice, it was a pleasure having you for both of these games, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for the invite. This was really, really exciting.
So we are 2 teams moving to 2 and 3, and the final score: the visiting C. Milton Wright Mustangs win 3-1, and this is our last field hockey match for the year. So thank you for tuning in, folks, and stay tuned for our next sports showcase event on Hartford TV. Take care.